Welcome, foolish mortals, to the Haunted Mansion.
Just brought Fantasy Springs over, I'd be happy because it looks incredible. So, you ready for today's episode, Dan? I totally forgot we skipped over the movie.
Yeah, it's time to talk about the movie, man. I just watched this movie.
You did? Okay.
First time. I watched this movie for the first time, and boy, let me just say right off the bat, I don't think anyone's really been watching this movie because it's incredible. It's a problematic movie. This movie is a train wreck. It's a disaster.
It could have been executed better in a multitude of ways, is how I would put that.
Oh my gosh. It felt like an improv game where like Eddie Murphy like went into a writer's room and they were just like they just threw phrases at him about the Haunted Mansion and he just kind of improv about it, and they're like, okay, great, we're just gonna kind of script that in somehow. Like half the movie was essentially Haunted Mansion's National Treasure Haunted Mansion starring Eddie Murphy, and then like this spooky gossip girl like Bridgerton, like bizarre like love affair kind of like, but like real, just like all there's just so many levels to it's just weird. It's a weird movie. What happened?
And that's what makes a movie good, is having so many different levels. All right, it's got, so you have, like you said, you have like the Phantom of the Opera gothic horror, you have Eddie Murphy comedy, you have, hey, this is a Disneyland ride, don't forget about Disneyland. So many different, because
oh my god,
do you know what I'm talking about? When I texted you, I texted Dan before the show, guys, and I said there's parts of the movie where they're like, hey guys, remember this part of the ride?
Yeah,
do you guys remember this part of the ride?
Yes, and that's it. Like, it's almost insulting in a way how like egregious they are with their like when they did the Pirates of the Caribbean movie, they recreated moments in an environment, in an aesthetic that just worked, in world building that like sense. The setup paid off for these like essentially like ride punchlines, right? Like they're things that the minute we see and we're like, oh yeah. And with Pirates, we were never once pulled out of it. We were never once like, like we were like, yeah, that dog needs to bring the keys over so that Jack could like, there were moments where it's like, yeah. And then this movie was just like, it felt like like just unnecessary
it's like
fan
service.
Hit a
quota.
It was weird. Right? It was weird. So weird.
Oh man. So where do I even start with this movie? So obviously we talked about Pirates of the Caribbean. That was a massively successful movie. And like you said, they incorporated parts of the ride in very well. The guy sleeping with the pig, you have the dog with the keys, and even like the skeletal pirates, which doesn't really make sense in the ride until they kind of made sense recently. But they made it make sense in the movie. But then you have the new Haunted Mansion. So that movie did so good. Blockbuster, everyone loved it, critics loved it, fans loved it, so Disney decided to go ahead with another movie based on another New Orleans Square attraction, this time based on the Haunted Mansion. And they got none other than Rob Minkoff to direct. Do you know who Rob Minkoff is?
Yeah, he's the guy who did Stuart Little, right?
He did the Stuart Littles.
Yeah, he did the Stuart Littles, yeah.
And he was a co-director for Lion King, apparently, too, which
is
a good one, right?
Right. Yeah, what I thought was more interesting about the movie when I looked into was the writer, because like it took like 3 years to write this movie.
Exactly, and it was the guy who wrote Elf, which is a fantastic movie.
Yeah, so well, you know what? I think Elf, there's no source material, so like Elf could be like the studio, like they just get a writer that's just like they could just manipulate through notes and just say, this is what has to happen. This is what has to happen. This movie felt like the pieces of like 4 different movies just exhaustively stuck together in some final way that the studio was just like, yeah, sure, fine. It literally felt like 2-3 different movies. It was so weird.
Right.
It was so disjointed.
We're about 5 minutes into this, and I can already tell this will probably be the least joyful episode of the Foolish Mortals podcast. We are going to eviscerate this movie before your very eyes.
Spoilers, obviously, but hey, like...
Oh yeah, have you not seen... It's on Disney+. Pause the video, go give it a watch.
Unfortunately.
Let us know your favorite part. What was your favorite part of the movie, Dan? Can you remember any part of the movie?
The movie was just so joyless. I don't really think that because here's the thing, none of the theme park stuff that they put in the movie, it was like they had to make it different but the same. Like it was right. It was like, well, no, we have to do it our way so that it's different, but it has to be the same thing. And it's just like, but that doesn't work. Like that doesn't. Yeah.
No, I get, because like so spoiler alert, at the beginning of the movie, the main character, the master of the house, whose name is Master Gracie in this continuity, we're going to get into the whole backstory of the mansion later, but there was an official website that gave some backstory we'll talk about. But he hangs himself in the attic of the house, and it has the scream and the lightning flash.
By the way,
right?
Like this movie does not. This movie is a rip roaring like train wreck. Holy smokes! There's like a murder suicide in the first 60 seconds of the film.
Right.
It's
and then
rough.
right after the murder suicide, they go bah, 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 bah. Like, yep. This is the Haunted Mansion movie.
Yeah, it felt so out of... You know what it was very reminiscent of? It was the Beauty and the Beast live-action remake, where, like, the movie starts in this big, like, ballroom scene that was just completely out of place. Where did this thing come from? Like, are we sure we're watching Beauty and the Beast?
And then all of a sudden it's a masquerade party, too, so, like, the ghosts in the ballroom are wearing masquerade masks instead of just having a party. And so, there's a lot of actors in this movie, as of course, and some of them do what the best they can, I think, with their material. You have Eddie Murphy, Terrence Stamp as Ramsley, the ghost butler. What do you think of Ramsley? What do you think of his line at the end when he's opening up the fireplace to drag them all to hell?
Yeah,
remember
what
that?
Was that like?
What's the point?
What is this movie, Dallin? What is this movie? It was like, why did this even like?
You know what? I'm sad they never added a fireplace into the ballroom in the ride that would open up as Terrence Stamp screamed "Damn you" at the guests as they ride past.
I think that the first misstep here is that the first misstep that happened here was the fact that they had this popular Pirates franchise.
Right, and it was doing well.
And they didn't set this in what didn't have to be. It didn't have to be the same universe, the same like the pirate expanded universe, but it should have existed in the same kind of time frame. And like maybe there could have been some parallels. I'm not saying that the two movies had to connect. It didn't have to be this big SEA thing, but not
everything has to be.
Right, but like the joy from the Pirates thing came from it being a period piece where you could kind of like play with like the tropes of it and like explore and they gutted everything from everything, all the joy from this ride was gutted from
It's like if for the Pirates of the Caribbean movie, instead of it being about Captain Jack Sparrow doing his thing, it was about like a pontoon boat fisherman in the Caribbean, who's also like a part-time comedian, and he goes out and he finds like a pirate treasure.
No,
and there's
worse. It's a movie about an old man on a rocking chair whittling.
Yes,
it's just in a bayou, while people he's 100 years away from him eat lobster tail and stare at him.
And he's not playing the banjo, guys. You hear the banjo. He's not playing the banjo. You could see he's not playing the banjo.
That's a spooky nephew in his old shack.
It's a really specific movie script we're talking about here, but I think it would. Everyone's like, we're pitching this movie to like some Disney executives, and they're like, and we're just like, and he's not playing the banjo. The banjo music is coming from inside the cabin. He's whittling, and they're like, okay.
Oh my gosh, it's incredible.
It's called Pirates of the Caribbean, based on the Walt Disney attraction, and I love how at the end it has based on Walt Disney's The Haunted Mansion, in the credits. Like loosely. It's the loosely
based.
I would say
Madame Leota made me so. First off, like, why is she green? Why is she like a green fart in like a coffee can? It's like so weird.
She always reminded me of a pickle jar.
Well, she's very like Spider-Man Mysterio. You know what I mean?
Right. She does look kind of like Mysterio. And then when he's in Madame Leota's room, she picks him up off the floor somehow and spins him around. So they go, guys, remember in Disneyland when you go around Madame Leota? You remember that? When she plays the music? Was
there a single Doom buggy in this movie?
I don't think so. I don't think there was a Doom buggy.
The biggest missed opportunity here.
How would you work a Doom buggy into a motion picture?
Well, here's the thing. If I was making a Haunted Mansion movie, it would be a Minions, like Addams Family CGI-esque like film.
That's a good way to pull it off.
Like a Hotel Transylvania kind of thing. Like it's like it needs to be that with the Hatbox Ghost or like, you know, being the odd one out who like got kicked out of the house and now he's trying to find his way back in, and like that's, you know, like, and it's all like it's got a lot of like, you know,
it's macabre humor.
Yeah. But like with the soundtrack of like, you know, Billie Eilish and Pharrell. You know what I mean? Like it's
an original song by Billie Eilish for the Haunted Mansion movie.
Right. And Pharrell is like, he shows up to the premiere in the biggest purple hat. Like you won't even believe how big this hat's gonna be.
It's a special Haunted Mansion hat that he got just for the Haunted Mansion premiere.
Yeah. But like seriously, I could see it being like some kind of like, you know, like Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, you know, like Hotel Transylvania, like spooky duplex, kind of like fun. Like
I can see where the seeds for this movie were planted because they were going for, because the Haunted Mansion is funny, spooky. It's funny and spooky, right? So they got Funny Man, Eddie Murphy, and they got spooky murder suicide Victorian murder mystery. And they said this will make it spooky and funny, just like the ride. And it didn't meld at all because the ride.
Yeah, but where in the ride is there like a Victorian murder mystery? That's the thing. Like, that's the mega disconnect. It's just like
they were going. I think that's their idea of what the horror should be. Right. That would. Right. Well, okay. So if we're talking about murder mysteries, Walt Disney World's Mansion does have a murder mystery. Do you know where it is?
Okay. Well, the Constance, right?
Oh, is that really a mystery? There's one. It's before you even set foot in the mansion in the interactive queue.
Oh, right. Okay. Is it all the busts, like how they were all like taken out?
Yep. And and you have to solve the mystery. But that obviously came way later. So I think their idea of horror was this murder mystery. That's their horror, because they couldn't do. And we'll get into the zombies later. All right, we'll get into the zombies later. But they couldn't do. It's not even horror with Disney. It's like whimsical.
Yeah. I'm starting to realize it's essentially beauty. It's like a Beauty and the Beast kind of like thing where like he's trying to like lure a woman in to like fall in love with him so that he can break the curse. But it's spooky. It's a spooky ghost. Also, he's a plantation owner and he's white and she isn't. And that's just like, what is that about? I mean,
you ever think about that when you were watching the movie?
No, I did. I thought about it a lot. It made me feel very strange.
So, if we're talking about the backstory of the mansion, we can also talk about where the mansion came from, because there was a website for the movie when the movie came out. It's now long gone, but it would tell the story of Master Gracie's, I believe, grandfather or father, who was a pirate, who served with one of the pirates who lived on Barataria, John Lafitte. That's canon to the movie. So he wasn't John Lafitte who owned the mansion, but the grandfather or father of the Master Gracie from the movie was a pirate. So that kind of ties back to the whole New Orleans Square connection thing. They tried to work that. I feel like that's like the Disneyland forward of the day. They were really trying to get this going with the whole connected New Orleans Square that didn't end up happening.
But they did such a terrible job. If that's what they were trying to do,
everything
they
in this
did
movie,
such a terrible job.
Right, everything in this movie seemed like it is the first draft, but like they didn't try too hard on the first draft, you know?
Right. Yeah. Or it seems like it was the last draft and every other idea got shot down. It's like this was all they were left with.
Which makes me extremely curious, what are they going to do for the new Haunted Mansion movie? Because they're doing another one.
Well, okay, but so like we have like a decent study now in ride movies, and it'll be interesting to see what Jungle Cruise does, because Jungle Cruise they went back to the pirates formula of put it in the time frame, you know, do world building, make the characters authentic and like real in that space, and don't set it in modern times. Don't have it be about two real estate agents who want to try to buy a boat in Africa. Like don't do that to the franchise. You know what I mean? Like respect where the story of the ride like was and what the story was, and because that's what they have to do with it now. That's what they have to do.
Because I don't think there was ever a realtor in the Disneyland mansion. I could be wrong, but I don't remember that in there anywhere. And
no,
so
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I'm sitting here thinking. I'm really thinking if there was any real estate kind of like, you know, Easter eggs or anything, but I don't think so.
So I'm looking at the cast list here. Deep Roy, who played the Oompa Loompas in the Willy Wonka Johnny Depp remake, was in this movie as Gus the Hitchhiking Ghost. So that's some major star power brought to the table. But apparently the Corey Burton as the ghost host is in there somewhere.
Yeah, he re-recorded the line "Welcome, Foolish Mortals." It wasn't Paul Frees's "Welcome, Foolish Mortals." He re-recorded it for the movie.
Where in the movie was
as
this?
An homage? Yeah, right at the beginning of this movie. It's just like, what is? It feels like someone rode the Haunted Mansion and then immediately went into a coma, woke up 30 years later, and the only thing he could remember was the story of his life through the lens of the Haunted Mansion.
Right. Well, that's how I live my life anyway. So I live my life through the lens of the Haunted Mansion, so I don't see the problem with that. I'm never not thinking about it.
It's purple haze. A purpley Haunted Mansion haze.
So what's interesting is Wallace Shawn, you may know him from The Princess Bride or as the voice of Rex from Toy Story, was in this movie.
Right.
And he plays a butler whose name is Ezra, but he's not a hitchhiking ghost.
Right.
So I believe this is the point of... Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
This is the point of Disney history where the fans making their own theories and stories for the mansion was sort of headed to the forefront, but Disney wasn't quite ready to accept that. So the hitchhiking ghosts' names weren't Phineas, Ezra, and Gus at this point. That was just what the fans called them. Disney wasn't ready to dip their toe into the fan theories and stuff. Like there used to be where a divider pole was outside of the Florida mansion that they took out of the ground one day, and people thought it sort of looked like a wedding ring. So they made it an actual wedding ring later on to tie into the attic story. So Disney is now way more willing to do what the fans like with the rides. Sea being a massive example. Disney's heavily leaning into Sea because people love Sea. And obviously the Haunted Mansion, people love the Hatbox Ghost. People were naming ghosts left and right. So Disney made that official. And this was way before that happened. This was a good decade before Disney started acknowledging.
It felt like a massive misstep that the three like helpful ghosts weren't the three hitchhiking ghosts,
right?
That were like, you know. And if there needs to be like a woman in there, that's fine. I get it. Make a fourth hitchhiking ghost and make it a lady for all I care, and then add her into the ride for all I care. Like, give me another hitchhiking ghost, sure. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, another animatronic's never a bad thing.
Right. It's such a shame there's so much potential everywhere for there to be like. I feel like we just need to give this movie to Zack Snyder and see what he could do with it.
The Snyder cut of the Haunted Mansion. 4:3
let him go
aspect
back
ratio.
in. Give him $750 million. Let him go back in there and just punch this thing up. I think we could really we could pull something together. The movie just needed to be. The movie just I love the idea of it being this kind of like almost Resident Evil, Eddie Murphy stuck in a haunted house, but it's not a scary haunted house. It's a mysterious kind of weird haunted house. And there's a spirit in there that also wants to get out and needs Eddie Murphy to solve the puzzles. It's like a spooky national treasure. That was a fun storyline to kind of run with.
What you just said right there sounds fantastic. And that's kind of what the movie is, but they just dropped the ball so hard on that plot line.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they made all the cameos they made all the ride cameos just pointless.
That's exactly, because there's a part of the movie where Eddie Murphy's holding the candelabra, because it's a candelabra. Remember the hallway scene, guys? And he's walking through the changing portrait hallway, and all the portraits, they're not the original. I don't know if it's Mark Davis. It might be Mark Davis. It's not the original changing portraits from the Haunted Mansion. They're brand new and they're strange looking. And then there's the breathing door in there for some. It's like, so in the ride, there's the corridor of doors with all these doors. They're knocking on themselves. They're trying to bust open. This one's breathing. It's a long, dark corridor, and at the end, there's just one door that's breathing. Like, I don't know. It feels like at every corner it feels like they cut corners. It feels like they wanted to have I don't even know if they wanted to have the budget. They had a big budget. It felt
the thing that instantly lost me about this movie was the minute that the mother and father let their two children just go into another room at a big spooky mansion that they were inconvenienced and stuck in. It's like, you don't stick together as a family for the night for a few hours. We can't just like hang out.
Get out of here.
You don't know what kind of weird spooky doors. You don't know what kind of guy this is. You don't just like leave your kids in a room, especially your dumb kids who like will just follow spooky balls around like hallways. Like, you know what I mean? It was just like spooky balls in hallways is what this movie was. I feel like it was ridiculous. And then it turns out that the spooky ball was like their dead ghost mom's double sister twin.
It was like was it a reincarnation maybe, or was it? Yeah, they didn't make that really clear. Was it just like an ancestor? What was it? Did they ever mention that? Because listen, guys, I like the Haunted Mansion.
They didn't.
I cannot remember because this movie's not great.
No, I just watched it. They did no world building. Everything was unearned. There was no payoff to anything. Everything was unearned. Everything was unearned.
Okay, and so we were talking about it's a haunted house that's not necessarily spooky, right? And so there's a point in the movie where they have to get this key to a trunk, I think. And so they go through the graveyard, and hey guys, remember Hitchhiking Ghosts? Hey guys, remember the graveyard scene? And remember the singing busts? And then they go to this mausoleum, and the key is guarded by just a horde of very well made, may I say, zombies, like decaying corpses. Yeah.
It's like a scene from Skyrim.
Right. They were like Draugrs from Skyrim.
Yeah. You remember the word.
I know that.
Everyone played Skyrim. Everyone played it. No one beat it. Hashtag Skyrim.
Hashtag Skyrim. So we're talking about it not being a scary haunted house, but then when you get to that point, I feel like your children are either going to start crying or they're going to start laughing, because like you said, everything else in the movie feels unreal.
Real zombies. It's like grotesque. It's like Game of Thrones. And then this was like the Ice King before the Ice King was the Ice King.
Right, and I don't remember zombies anywhere in the attraction aside from in that coffin trying to get out.
Right, and you know what's interesting about that scene? The coffin, he doesn't get out of the coffin. There's a bird and some like flowers that are holding him down. And who let
that bird is keeping him at bay.
Who let the zombies out? Who
let the zombies out? And so he's digging through the zombie trying to get him to he rips its hand off, and it's like weirdly gory because there's like squishy sounds and cracky sounds as he rips
What
the
do you think
zombie up
that?
to get the
What do
key.
you think that crypt zombie water tastes like? Like that little girl
In
was so
universe
eager
or
to
like
jump into the goo, like the flesh, like the flesh broth, like zombie flesh broth,
flesh round?
water, and she's just
And
like splashing around it. She's like, "Daddy, the pathogens! I'm finding the key," and
oh,
and then she goes underneath it and she opens her eyes in the zombie bone broth. She
in the
opens
broth.
her eyes underwater. She's got COVID now.
And
She's definitely got it.
the movie takes this movie takes place in New Orleans, so that is musty swamp water in that mausoleum. And plus, whose design
Yep.
idea was that we're gonna bury this like 30 people in the same mausoleum, and we're gonna have a nice little cistern of water in the middle? Is that something that they do with mausoleums, as far as you know? Do they have like rivers of water flowing through them?
No, I think they do that with root cellars though, like for tubers when you're trying to keep like a potato cool.
I didn't see any potatoes in this scene though. So what's the
Spooky
deal here,
tubers?
Disney? Spooky tubers, and that's tubers like a potato, not like us.
Yeah.
We're not spooky tubers. I mean, I guess
No,
we are
but
kinda
you know
spooky
what?
tubers.
You know what though? When we are lazy rivering, living with the land,
Yes,
we're definitely going to be spooky tubers.
at that point, we'll be eating some spooky tubers.
Oh yeah, maybe Tony Baxter will be like, "Hey, we grew these spooky tubers from the ceiling with string
It's like we have
using fish
here at
poop."
Epcot. Yeah, here at Epcot, we're learning to live with the land by shaking these vials of plant liquid all day.
Yep. Come on down to Living with the Land. Get your fishy spooky tubers.
We have spooky tubers, and spooky tubers, all spelled differently. So
Wait,
man,
what's the third spelling?
are they
Tubers, the potato, like the
right?
root thing.
I guess
Tubers,
tubers.
like
Let's do tubers when you're in the tube. End it with a Z, and then YouTubers will end with an S. Because tubing is extreme, right? And that's sort of the whole vibe they were going for with the original California Adventure. Tie it in somehow.
okay, we could do a singular tuber because that's just you on the lazy river as a single tuber, a spooky tuber, and then we
Right.
are spooky tubers because we're
Together.
YouTubers with spooky. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I get it.
so eat a spooky tuber while spooky tubing with spooky tubers. That works.
Spooky.
Think about it. Spell it out of your head. Eat a spooky tuber while spooky tubing with spooky tubers. So back to the Haunted Mansion movie. We could talk about this forever. So the singing busts in the graveyard scene. They're singing Grim Grinning Ghost, of course, because they have to be. But did you know they were actually voiced by the Dapper Dans at Disneyland at the time?
Oh, really?
Yeah, they actually got the Dapper Dans from Main Street to be the voices of those busts.
I dig that. I like that a lot. Actually, I didn't know that. I
feel
know
like
they pared them down. They turned it into a quartet, which I thought was
Right.
very like, hey, that was another one of those. Hey, it was like, hey, Disney. You know, it was like one of
Right.
those Disney World, like the white people at the tiki bar at the beginning. Essentially, everyone at Walt Disney World. You know what I mean? Like
Right,
white
is that
people
not-
at tiki bars.
It was very Trader Samsy, and I say that
Yeah.
as a person who loves Trader Sam's with a burning passion. But I get it.
Me too.
Right?
Me too.
Oh man.
Yeah,
The
but it
uh-oh.
wasn't Trader Sam's. It was like
No,
if this
no.
movie was made today, they would have filmed it in Trader Sam's just for the vertical integration.
I feel like if they would have I feel like if they had filmed that in Trader Sam's, people would have lost their minds. And well, Disney fans, I guess it would have been like Endgame when Cap lifts Mjolnir. People would have lost their minds if they saw Trader Sam's on the big screen. Or is that just me?
No, I would have lost my with that octopus holding a bottle of mysterious liquid. I'm here for it, buddy. I'm here for it.
It's scary, man. So this movie was filmed in New Orleans as well, which is interesting. So the mansion scenes were filmed at Sable Ranch in California, but the exterior scenes were all filmed in New Orleans. And if you look at the mansion at the beginning, they do a pan back of a wide shot of the mansion. And true to your point, Dan, it's an amalgamation. It's a purposeful mix of the Disney World and Disneyland mansions, but it looks off. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, it does.
It looks weird. It's like white and like it's like completely white.
Here's the thing. It's in Louisiana. It's a plantation house. It's a plantation house in Louisiana. And here's the thing. The movie didn't start like this. From what I read, it was an upstate New York house that was the original intention of the whole thing. But they wanted to pull in the New Orleans square. But then it's
right. No, they made the whole
they added they added the solarium, like the iron and glass room from the Disney World mansion onto it to kind of give it more of like a Gothic thing, which kind of then I think from what I read turned into like a French Renaissance kind of aesthetic, because it's like a combination of all these random, like, it's ridiculous, but like it's very specifically Louisiana Disneyland mansion.
Yeah, it's like a Frankenstein house where here's the Disneyland mansion, and then here you have the observatory or the conservatory from Orlando. Are there any other parts of that movie that you can remember where they mentioned the attraction? We talked about the hitchhiking ghosts, the bust, the hanging man.
Yeah, there's the ballroom dancing scene. There's a scene where the ghosts all haunt the ballroom, and that there's that whole thing. The opening credits has the floating candelabra, right?
Yes.
So there is kind of that, but like in the movie I'm envisioning, like I'm seeing the trailer start with like a hallway with the candelabra going down, and then like you hear a sneeze and the the candle gets blown out, and then suddenly the ghosts get revealed, and it's like a very like there's a ghost like seriously looking at the Hatbox Ghost who just blew out the you know what I mean? It's like you need to pull. You need to expand on the gags. You don't just need to regurgitate the gags. Like, expand on them. Make the gags a payoff. Make them land. Don't make them convenience. It's that Pixar rule, right? It's that Pixar rule. Don't let the characters advance out of convenience ever. Like, don't let a coincidence. Sorry, not convenience. Coincidence. Don't let coincidence be the thing that drives the plot. Like, don't let the coincidence be the thing that like is the payoff. And this entire movie was just coincidences. It
was coincidence after coincidence. He walked into the right door. He walked, they did this and that in the perfect order. And there's not any rules to this mansion either, I noticed. Because like in Walt Disney World's or in the Disney Parks mansions, you have, for the most part, aside from like the zombie and Madame Leota, all the ghosts until you reach the graveyard are apparitions, right? They're like see-through or they're invisible. And then you reach the graveyard and they become full-fledged like physical ghosts. Here, it's all over the place, right? You have, apparitions in the graveyard. You have zombies. You have, there's no rules in this movie to like.
Well, actually, from what the writer says is that he designed the movie so that when the ghosts are in the house, the spooky Beauty and the Beast house, they're human. But the further away from the house they get, the more ghostly they become. Exactly. So like the house is their power.
Which is weird because in the attraction it's the opposite, right?
Right. It's very much so the opposite. Right.
So yeah. And then at the end, so spoiler alert again, at the end, they all go to heaven. Do you remember that scene where the clouds part and all the ghosts?
Bro, the movie is like this, this movie is like a Christian Vacation Bible school, like production. The movie gets super into like at the end, it's just like, and if you believe in God and you are a good boy, you're going to go to heaven. And everyone's just like, wait, what? When did heaven come? Well, then again, someone just gets sucked into hell by like Harry Potter fire snakes.
Right. No, you can look down into hell in the movie. And so it's like, so is this Haunted Mansion universe, God and Jesus are up there like watching these ghosts trying to hitchhike their way to a mausoleum as Eddie Murphy's bumbling his way through
I
Ray
didn't
Liotta's
even
room.
remotely consider the fact that Jesus was involved. Like, Jesus was like aware of what was going on in the mansion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like Jesus died for our sins so that 999 of us could hang out here and have a rip-roaring time. Grim grinning ghost, baby. Is Jesus one of the 999? Like, I have the fact that we're bringing
because they introduced these themes into the movie. Christian heaven and Christian hell are a thing in the Haunted Mansion.
Keep
movie.
Christ out of the mansion of the haunted house of Disneyland. Like, keep Christ out of that.
It's called Haunted Mansion Holiday, not Haunted Mansion Christmas. That's all I'm gonna say. Think about
it. I love you so much. You are like one of my favorite people. Oh my god! We're taking Christ out of the Haunted Mansion, baby. It's the Haunted Mansion holiday. Oh my god! This is the best joke that has happened on this podcast. I love you so much.
Christ out of the Haunted
Mansion. And we're doing our best to put it back in. Oh, yeah.
The movie did it for us. So, something that strikes me as odd, too, is that the ghosts in the graveyard scene seem to be having a pretty good time. Do you think they would want to leave? Do you think... I guess it's heaven, right? So I guess it's probably better. But, like, they try to show that the ghosts want to like, move on, right? For the most part, the main character ghosts, they want to move on and go to the Christian heaven.
Yeah.
But all the other side characters, and for some reason, Madame Leota stays, and the singing busts also stay after the mansion's curse is lifted, and there's no explanation given. So is she like
this
AI?
Movie is a disaster. This movie is a disaster.
Do you think they're secretly like she's like an AI or like an animatronic that was just planted in the house? It's like super realistic and lifelike that he mistakes her for a ghost. And all the other ghosts are real.
This movie feels like that Fantastic Four movie they made in the 90s, just to like keep the rights. You know what I mean? It's just like, well, we've got to make one. It's like you got this far into the script, and then you're like, well, let's still make it. Like, why? What? Right. What was? Fire everyone who was involved in saying that this was a good idea.
And it just makes me nervous, Dan. It makes me nervous for the next Haunted Mansion movie. Because the person they got to direct it, she seems great. She's done Parks and Rec. She did the best episodes of Parks and Rec. But the guy who wrote this one did Elf, right?
Yeah, so but listen though. That this was a hunt. This had all that Elf family summer movie, family holiday movie energy. It was like relatable kid boy, relatable kid girl, relatable mom, relatable dad. And we don't, and like that, it was Elf. It's like, it's literally, you know what? You're so right. It's literally Elf repackaged, but instead of like Christmas special, like Easter eggs, it's just Haunted Mansion Easter eggs. Quite honestly, perfect. Like, the Elf, none of the Elf Christmas like holiday like sort of like Easter eggs. None of those are earned. Yeah, none of those are earned either. They're just served up. It's just like here. Right. Oh my god, my brain is blowing up, bro. My brain is blowing up. I hope, chat. I hope you're laughing at me. I hope I'm entertaining you at least. I don't know. I can't believe you're ruining my whole life right now, Dallin. You're ruining my whole life. I'm never going to be able to watch Elf again. I'm
just making you think about now we can watch this movie and appreciate it for just how many things it gets completely wrong. Dan, is there any part of this movie that you think got it right?
Yes, the Eddie Murphy, when Eddie Murphy wasn't with the wife character.
Right. Just like, exploring the mansion on his own?
Right. You know what, buddy? I think that together we should hunker down for a couple of days and do like a Tobey Maguire cut of this movie where we just remove all of the nonsense.
You know what? I feel like that would be an amazing thing to do. We'd make an offhand Disney Dan cut of the Haunted Mansion.
Yes. I think we could do it. Right. Listen, I just recently watched a cut of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone where they replaced all the wands with guns. And it is truly a masterpiece. It's one of the greatest things I have ever witnessed in my entire life. I laugh so hard every time I watch it. It's truly great. If they could do that, we could do a offhand Disney Dan cut of the Haunted Mansion. It's going to be like 27 minutes, but
right. I'm trying to look at the runtime for the Haunted Mansion for the film. How long is it?
90 minutes. It's a buck 30
to the T. So I think we could cut it down to like a solid 45 minute movie.
Right. Or maybe you super limit like the involvement of the because quite honestly, even after the reveal that the butler did it,
right,
the reveal doesn't influence the fact that like hell opened up and took him, because hell already knew that he was guilty to begin with. Like hell is omniscient, so is heaven. You know what I mean? Jesus is hanging up in the sky.
Jesus was watching Eddie Murphy. Yeah,
right. They like. Hell should have just opened up anyway and just grabbed him. Like, what are we waiting for? Like, come on! Like, he's already done the crime.
Was waiting for Eddie Murphy to. Jesus and Satan both were like, let's put aside our differences. I know we've been through a lot, but let's put aside our differences and we'll watch this guy run around this haunted house for 86 minutes, and then I'll let you take the butler.
Right? Yes. Right. Right.
Because you did raise a good point. There's no reason why the fireplace opened up to hell at the moment that it did. It just does, right?
We didn't say Beetlejuice 3 times. Like there was no thing.
There was no lead up. Yeah, did they?
Well, I'm sure there is a lead up. We're just not like it wasn't well written, is what I'll say.
Right. It's just frustrating having the best Disney ride in all of existence be one of the worst remembered Disney movies ever.
You know what? You and I, we'll just you and I, a couple of us will redub some of the stuff.
Yeah, as
the characters.
Right. Would we?
If we need to for plot holes.
Will it be in a 4:3 aspect ratio? Of course, muted colors, slow motion every 20 seconds, the full shebang, so we can compare it to the Snyder Cut of Justice League. So
we're gonna take a 90-minute Haunted Mansion movie and turn it into a 4-hour Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, it's gonna
with
be 6
no
parts.
New footage.
It's gonna be rated R.
Did you watch it?
I watched it.
I thought it was great.
I thought, I'm not a DC guy, and I'm trying to put aside my Marvel fanboyism because I live, breathe, and other things Marvel. But I just thought it was the same movie but longer. I gotta say, it just felt like the same movie but longer to me, except for the very end. The final fight scene, I think, was masterfully done.
Yeah, the final fight scene the action was great. Yeah, it was Cyborg's movie this time.
I do appreciate giving more because I feel so bad for that actor because with the original cut he's the main character, and then yeah.
Well, and it really drives the plot in a meaningful way. His involvement, like him being cut out of the plot, is the reason why the Whedon cut is such a disjointed mess, because it's because you need that the wand lore in Harry Potter, so that there's like a payoff at the end, so that we understand that wands are super important. You know what I mean? Like we need to lay the groundwork.
Right. They try, and we need our eyes. We need a surrogate in the movie. Every person needs a surrogate in a movie, right? And so in this movie, in the Snyder Cut, Cyborg was like new to it. He was, whatever, hesitant.
Right.
And Cyborg and Flash were our surrogates into the movie. Just like Eddie Murphy was meant to be us going through the Haunted Mansion. He was supposed to be a normal person going through this extraordinary experience. But the way, I don't know, he doesn't because I feel like if I was, in a haunted house like that, I would spend less time screaming and running around and more time either hunkered down in a room, not wanting to move, or like, how are they doing this?
Yeah. I'm suddenly now dreaming about a haunted mansion like movie where it takes place with it's a little bit like What We Do in the Shadows, where there's like two college interns that are dressed like the cast members, and
Right.
like they're just responsible for taking care of the the disaster that just is 999 happy haunts in one house, and like
Right.
all the emotional drama that everyone's just mad at each other, no one has any healthy boundaries, that all the ghosts are just the worst, and it's these two college interns that just have to, because they got to be college program kids, right?
Of course.
And you dress them up in the butler outfits, the haunted mansion outfits, and then
Right.
they get shoved into the mansion for college credits, and they've got to just
Oh man. See,
because there you
yeah,
go, they're surrogates for us. I love that. That's a really great point.
exactly. Because like, I think the best haunted mansion movie ever made was the Addams Family movie, like the live action Addams Family movie.
Yes,
because they got that vibe done perfect. I haven't, like I said, I haven't seen the new one.
Well, hold on, not the Tim Curry one. We're not talking about Addams Family Reunion. Addams Family, Addams Family Values. Just those two. Also, the new CGI one, Chef's Kiss. I loved it. I really loved it.
I'm gonna watch it.
I want a haunted mansion movie. I want a CGI haunted mansion movie with that kind of vibe, with a little mix of like Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, kind of like that, just like that, like Madhouse.
That animation style definitely works for the mansion too, giving these ghosts exaggerated features. I think.
Yeah, well, because they already do. Right. Look at Ezra, Gus, and Phineas. Like they're that's why they're so visually stunning.
Right. And it's interesting because you see, I'm going off on a tangent here into audio animatronics, because they look so lifelike. Like this could be a real thing in front of me, but they also look very, very like cartoonish at the same time. Like even in Pirates of the Caribbean, they have these big, cartoony noses or faces or, laugh lines or.
Well, yeah, well they're lifelike because they're not static. They're designed so that they're always and as humans, we're never still. And in that way, our brain is tricked to be like, oh, these things are alive, because those hitchhiking ghosts are uniquely, they're always moving. It's not a lot, but it's just enough. It's like,
yeah. I always love the hitchhiking ghosts because you're right. They are not the shaman Navi river journeys, shaman of songs doing this all the day, all time. They're if you rode past them quick, you would think they were just static moving like this, but you look closer and you can see the smaller movements of that.
Just those tiny little moments. Yeah,
it's subtlety. It's subtlety that the movie doesn't have.
No. Nothing's earned. Everything's cheap.
Nothing is earned. I'm trying to think. Is there anything in that movie that is earned? As a single thing. What do you think? I'm trying to. I can't think of one.
Like no, nothing's earned. Nothing is earned. No, nothing is earned.
It's a guys. If you can't tell, we eviscerate this movie because we love the Haunted Mansion, and we know a Haunted Mansion movie can be better. Have you seen? Speaking of Haunted Mansion movies, have you seen Did you watch the Comic-Con footage that I told you to watch a while ago?
Of what?
So it was for the Guillermo del Toro Haunted Mansion before that was canceled.
Yes.
With Ian McShane as the ghost host.
Yeah.
What? I think if anybody could nail a Haunted Mansion movie, it'd be Guillermo del Toro. Are you happy it didn't happen, or are you upset?
Because he does very good work, but it's a very specific kind of work. And I think he would. Who was the spooky one when the mansion was being planned? It was who wanted it to be scary.
Claude Coates. Claude Coates.
Guillermo would have been 2 Claude Coates and not enough Rolly Crump.
Not enough Rolly, not enough Mark. I agree.
Not enough Mark. Yeah, not enough Mark. He would have been because he takes things. I mean, and I'm saying this with like sincere love for what the man makes. But
Right.
like,
No.
you
Yeah.
look at Hellboy 2, and that's a lot of that. I feel like that's a lot of the aesthetic, a lot of those very vibrant, stunning colors, because that's what the mansion is. A lot of those very
Right.
visually stunning colors, like those strong palettes, like those teals and the purples and the blues.
Yeah.
But he elevates it to this uncanny valley of like uneasiness when you look at some of like most of what he like designs. It's
Right.
almost too human in a way that like you can see too much of yourself in it, and it's just like, I don't know if I'm okay with this.
You've seen the Hatbox Ghost concept from the movie too, right?
Yes, yeah.
Where his mouth is like actively rotting up, like and away from his teeth. It seems like it's too much. Like, have you seen Crimson Peak?
Yes, yeah. Well, I've seen scenes from it. I'm not a big scary movie guy.
Oh, it's not scary. Don't.
No, it's not.
I mean, you're a puppet guy. It's got lots of puppets in it, but they're ghosts.
Yeah, I just don't eat. I don't eat spicy food for the same reason I don't watch haunted like scary movies, because I like jump scares or like it's just like I just want to enjoy the thing I'm chewing on. You know what I mean? Like I don't need it to take me on surprise adventures. I want it to, you know.
Exactly. I'm not a scary movie person either, but this Crimson Peak is probably the closest we have now to the first half of the Haunted Mansion, represented well in a movie.
Oh,
represented
really? Okay.
pretty well. Yeah.
That's Loki's in it, right?
Yeah, Loki's in there. He's a ghost the whole time. Spoiler alert. I think she falls in love with him and he's a ghost.
Damn it, Dallin! I haven't seen the movie, bro.
Why you say you're gonna be too scared, Dan?
You told me it wasn't scary, bro.
But no, the ghosts in that movie look really, really good. And for the most part, they're puppets or like costume puppet hybrids. The ghosts, there's only like 2 or 3 ghosts in the whole movie, but they look really good. And I think it's obviously it's too scary for children and for Disney, but the vibe of that movie is very much the first half of the Haunted Mansion.
Okay, so I'll have to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, you totally can.
Maybe we'll do an episode where we like try to pull all the like any of like that kind of inspiration he got from that kind of stuff. I'll have to watch it and see. Like, is there any? Is it just like very stunning kind of architecture and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's got just like.
I remember the trailer. Yeah, the trailer is just like full of beautiful. It's a beautiful house that the thing's set in.
Right. It's got lots of cool imagery. It looks very Haunted Mansion-y. Like the whole house has got these winding staircases and portraits all around. Like I have a feeling this was like he was gearing up with this movie as like concepts, for the Haunted Mansion.
Is Crimson Peak on Disney Plus?
Is it Fox? It might. If it
I don't know.
It's probably not. I believe it's rated R. Oh, you're joking, Dan. You can't joke. You can't joke about Crimson Peak here on this podcast. That is sacred, Dan. You can't joke about it. But no, yeah, watch it. And now,
well, I'm trying to think of the. Yeah, they just announced one, didn't they?
It was like a couple months ago. They announced a brand new Haunted Mansion movie. And people are saying, oh, it's a reboot of the Haunted Mansion film. I wouldn't consider this, I wouldn't consider, like, it's not a reboot. Like, they're not rebooting the movie. They're rebooting they're just trying again, I guess, right? Because, like,
yeah,
what would a good, like a movie reboot or like a game reboot, like, I don't know. It's not like they're trying to build off of the original Eddie Murphy Haunted Mansion. They're starting from scratch, right?
Right. There's really no respect for the original. There's just no respect.
No, there's not. So you have one of the producers worked on the Sherlock Holmes, Robert Downey Jr. movies, and the Lego movies.
Oh, okay. So, that's some good experience.
Right. He also produced the live-action Aladdin. So beautiful sets in that movie.
Which was not half bad.
I think I personally think Aladdin is the best live action remake. If we're gonna get into this, we can get into this. I think the Aladdin live action remake was really well done. I think
you invite me here and you ask me what live action you want me to get into this. I'll get into this if that's what you want. I'll get it. I'll get it.
Dan, people obviously love the Beauty and the Beast live action remake so much they're ordering a Disney Plus series about Gaston and LeFou specifically. Remember? Have you heard about this? They're making a Disney Plus series called Gaston and LeFou, I think, starring Luke Evans and Josh Gad as their characters from the movie, and it's going to be a musical with music written by Alan Menken. Just let it sink in for a second that that's happening.
But do we need that?
Do we need it? No. Do I want it?
I don't need no. Luke Evans or Luke Flowers or whatever this guy's name is to like be making Gaston more sympathetic. It's the movie's like this like bizarre commentary on like arranged marriages and like
right.
We devout. Oh
no, I'm with you, Dan.
That's
I'm with
great.
you.
That's great.
You're gonna be watching that midnight when it launches, right, on Disney Plus? Gaston and LeFou.
You know what I will be watching when it. You know what I was really tickled by? Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Man, see, I'm not as hooked as I was with WandaVision.
I didn't know that you were cast as Captain America in this thing.
You didn't.
This guy's got the guy who's in the costume has such a Dallin jawline, man. I'm just like, man, is that you in there, Dallin? What are you doing as Captain America?
I'm glad you said that because I've seen a innumerable amount of posts on the internet of people talking about how they hate this Captain America's face.
Oh no, you have a much better face than him.
Oh, well, that's good.
I'm not saying that you have a completely different head shape, but you have the same. You have the chin. You have that stunning chin.
Thank you for that. But this is a Marvel episode now, so
spooky
Falcons, spooky Cap. Keep going.
Spooky soldiers.
Spooky soldiers.
Spooky Zemo. Spooky Zemos, right? Baron Zemo.
He is kind of
spooky Zemos.
So
yeah, he is.
The new Cap, by the way, is played by Wyatt Russell. You know this, right?
No, I don't. Who's Wyatt Russell?
Son of Kurt Russell. Ego the Living Planet. And Guardians of the Galaxy.
You have a lot of Kurt Russell energy. I've never thought. I'm putting two and two together, baby. You have a lot of young Kurt Russell energy, man. I can't wait for you to put an eye patch on and start starring in some action films, baby. This is gonna be great.
People are typing comments right now in the description as I'm speaking because Kurt Russell, when he was Disney's Golden Boy back in the 70s, hosted himself a walkthrough tour of Disneyland's Haunted Mansion.
Yes, he did.
It's all
not as good as that Tony Baxter one though. That's on YouTube. That's like
I love that one because it's simultaneously peeling back the layers and looking into the mind of an Imagineer and a fan. But also, it's like the worst audio quality I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, it takes a lot of energy to watch it. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of emotional bandwidth to tolerate. It's like trying to watch HBO when you don't pay for HBO back when your cable was a thing.
Because this was back in the day.
There's some real rough tracking in that.
It's bad. And this was back in the day when they did it outside of the Orlando mansion. So this was back in the day when every 6 seconds they would play the dog howling sound from the graveyard out just in the queue. So Tony Baxter's talking, and every now and then it'll just be, and then he'll wait, and then it'll end, and he'll go back to talking, and then 6 seconds later it'll come back. So he'll stop talking a second time, and then eventually he'll just start talking over it louder, and he's getting fed up with it, obviously.
Yeah. It becomes so aggressive. It's like if they had filmed it today, it'd be like, we need to turn the audio off so we don't get so YouTube doesn't pick it up and demonetize us. Can you turn all this audio off? Man.
Dude, can you imagine waiting outside the Haunted Mansion in 85, 90 degree Orlando heat back in the, in the 80s and the 90s, early 2000s with that darn dog howling every 6 seconds?
I don't own a dog, so do you have a dog?
I do. I have a corgi. He's waiting outside the door for me right now. I can see his shadow.
Really? Do you have a cat?
No, I'm deathly allergic to cats. Not deathly allergic. I won't die, but
really?
I'm horribly allergic. Yeah.
What happens?
Well, my eyes
just get a little itchy.
My airways close up, and I start tearing up, and I get itchy. Yeah. No cats allowed.
I've never owned a cat either. I've had a few dogs growing up, but I've never had a cat.
Yeah.
There's a couple cats in the Haunted Mansion ride, right? And there's a dog. So
there's a couple owls. That should be an episode. The living animals of the Haunted Mansion. Because you have the crow, or the raven, unless it's undead because its eyes are red. But then you have a couple owls in the graveyard. You have the dog. You have the cat.
Oh my god! Are we doing an episode where we both dress like? Are we doing an episode where we both dress like safari guides in front of green screen, and we go on a safari adventure through the Haunted Mansion to observe the animals in their natural habitats?
Would you look at that? Yeah. But we can't talk about the undead hellhound in the back of the graveyard. We can't talk because he's not a living animal. Oh, would you look at that dog? Oh, someone feed that dog. He's very hungry and he's terrified.
You know what we could do? We could be the first paranormal zoologists.
Paranormal zoobers. So I'm trying to tie it in. So you can have a spooky tuber while you're spooky tubing with the spooky tuber, spooky zoobers. I don't know. Someone come up with a full length paragraph using only words like that. Tuber, Zuber. So Dan, I'm off a tangent right now. What would you rate the Haunted Mansion? 1 to 5 stars or 1 out of 10? What would you rate the Haunted Mansion movie and why?
I give it like a 2 out of 10. It accomplished something. It didn't accomplish much, but it did accomplish something.
Something happened
I laughed a few times.
The sets are really well done, I think. I think the house looks really good.
It does look really good. Except no doom buggies.
Yeah, where is the octopus? I didn't see a single octopus with its tentacles attached to a doom buggy the entire movie. Did they just forget to put that in?
None. I commissioned a shirt, by the way, buddy.
Yes!
I commissioned a shirt. I cannot wait for the art to come in because I am so tickled by this idea of a popsicle stick holding octopus that's operating the Haunted Mansion. I just can't even. I'm living for it so much.
It's going to so great. Buy up all this Foolish Mortals merch, like for real. I am so excited. I would give it, for me, I don't know. I feel like I liked it maybe a little bit more than you do. I'd probably give it a 3. Just by a little bit. I know. I'm sorry, Dan. We can end the podcast there. A 3 out of 10.
I liked it a little bit more than you do.
Well, because I have to. Well, I can't let you be the biggest Haunted Mansion fan in the room. That's not what this is about.
But this isn't a haunt. This doesn't represent the Haunted Mansion.
Not even in the least.
Right.
Remember that scene at the beginning where there's the newspaper boy and then the face comes out of the mansion and scares him away, and that's the last time you see that?
What? Yes! Yes!
Why is he delivering a newspaper to this old abandoned house? Who lives there where he's someone signed up for this newspaper on 666 New Orleans Boulevard.
Can we talk about the worst way to neuter the illusion of the inverted busts by just 3D rendering 3D busts that can turn in real space?
They did do that, and you hear them go.
Yeah,
brilliant.
and then Eddie Murphy gets chased by instruments, Leota instruments.
Leota, because remember the ride in Disneyland when they play the instruments? We got it. It's in here.
And her rhyming is so weak. Movie Leota can't rhyme at all.
They make her rhyme in it. I get why, but they didn't do it very well. And then sometimes she'll just drop the rhyme scheme too, to just give that classic Jennifer Tilly one-liner that you've seen in.
Is that who the Madame Leota was? Jennifer Tilly?
Yeah. Who would you cast as Madame Leota? Besides Leota Toombs.
Tilda Swinton.
Oh, that's perfect. Actually, you just said that. I was gonna try to think of a better idea, but I think that's it. Or Cate Blanchett. Also, they have to have that.
Oh, Emma Thompson.
Yeah, they have. I like how we're naming like sort of. I don't want to say they're snooty, but like snooty British women for Madame
Bernadette
Leota.
Peters.
Bernadette Peters. You know, I've only ever seen her in Into the Woods, so I can't comment on that. Who would play? Okay, we're doing a fan casting here. Who would play the Hatbox Ghost?
Or would I feel like that's an entire episode. We can't just we can't start. That's another hour-long conversation. Fan casting the Haunted Mansion.
Fan cast of the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah,
Jack Black. Anyways,
here's the thing. Actually, good idea. This is perfect. Let us know in the comments some of your Haunted Mansion fan casts, and we're going to come back to this topic. And if you have a good idea, we'll feature you in the conversation.
Let's do it. Yeah, that'll be next week. We'll be talking about our fan casts and why they would make good hitchhiking ghosts or Leotas or ghost hosts. All right.
Perfect.
Dan, it was fun. Yeah, another
Thanks
spooky.
For making me watch that terrible movie.
Oh, I'm so happy you did, and that because I have someone to talk about it with. Even if
my wife will watch it.
Even if I liked it just a little bit more than you did.
I did like it. I actually can't wait to show it to my kids because here, through the lens of a kid, my kids will be like, "Oh, Dad, that's like that lady in the ball at the ride. Oh, Dad, it's like the things. It's like the thing. Oh, Dad, it's like the thing." And like with that in mind, there's a lot of joy there for me. But at the same time, it's like, honey, she's currently fishing around for a key in like zombie broth.
Water. Yeah,
like zombie saliva goo broth. You know, like pathogens.
With her eyes open.
With her eyes, she's not going to just get pink eye. She's going to get like orange eye. I don't even know what that is, but it's not good. It's not good.
It's like 2 levels above pink eye.
Yeah.
Oh man. Now
thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Hurry back.
Hurry back. Hurry back.
Hurry back. Got
Spooky it. Tubers.
Spooky
tubers.
Spooky tubers. Come on.
A spooky tuber eating spooky tubers.
Spooky tubing.
While spooky tubing.
Right. We are now in Foolish Mortals After Dark territory, everybody. Man. I don't know. I feel like there was one joke in the movie where Eddie Murphy walks past the breathing door and he goes, "So all that is termites. Just some big ass termites." And for some reason that joke always gets me. I like that joke. I don't know why. It's not a good joke. I like it though.
It's the worst.
It's bad. I know. And I'm just so mad they didn't use the original changing. Like, if you're going to use changing portraits in the movie to be like, guys, here's some changing portraits. Why are you not using the Mark Davis changing portraits? So many. Maybe we'll get a new Haunted Mansion in the Disneyland expansion. Maybe they'll just do it again. So, you know, like Haunted Mansion, and then they just call it like Haunted Mansion 2.
Haunted Mansion 2. Haunted Mansion's Tuber.
Haunted Mansion. And then they bring Dan and I.
Yes.
Did you tweet it?
I had to make a sentence out of it. It was breaking my brain. I didn't realize we were still recording. I thought I didn't realize. I couldn't not get it out of my brain. So now that it's out of my brain, I'll be able to sleep and hopefully thank you Jesus. Thank you Spooky Jesus.
Spooky Jesus who exists in the Haunted Mansion universe.
Yeah. Can Madame Leota like talk to Jesus? Is she like the Pope? We got to end this podcast, man. This is too much.
All right, guys.
Are freaking out.
Thank you for watching Foolish Mortals After Dark. We'll see you on the next one.
Welcome, foolish mortals, to the Haunted Mansion.